right? Because everything brings forth its equivalent. Every disappointment brings forth its equivalent. There's not one situation you're going to be in life and it did not bring a lesson. Maybe in that moment in time, it did not feel like it. Because sometimes our blessing feel like it's a curse. Sometimes in life, our blessing, life is designed sometimes because we are stubborn. We are literally stubborn and we don't believe that things is working in our favor. So sometimes our blessing it feels like a curse. A lot of people, whenever time the dust settle, when they're down in the valley, when you're down in the valley, right, and you feel like the relationship is not working or the job is not working out, and life, you feel like your life is just all over the place. Sometimes we feel like our blessing is a curse. And yeah, like if you have really just learned to trust and just to listen to that voice and just have faith and just believe in yourself, then you will realize that what you're going through sometimes is not really working against you, it's working at you, it's working on you. Right? It is preparing you. And you normally hear this sometimes and it might sound corny, right? But I can attest to that. I can attest to that, right? Amen. Blessed, yeah. I can attest to that. I can truly attest to that. That blessed Ryan. Yeah, sometimes you have gone through, whether you're in a relationship, you might in a relationship and it wasn't the right relationship and maybe the other partner cheated on you or do something and you feel like your life is over, right? And boom, because as a wise man once said, you would never go and buy a bed. Keep that old bed and go buy a new bed. Because oftentimes if you go and buy a bed, the first thing you do is throw the old bed. Right? The first thing you do when you're going to buy a bed, you throw away the old bed. You're making space for the new bed. Right? And life is no different. Sometimes some people fall off out your life. Sometimes some relationship that you could have never imagined would have run its course. And you wake up at some point and these people are no longer integral to your life. These people are no longer in communicate. And sometimes we are so stubborn that we feel like, shit, life is against us, but life is working on you because guess what? We have to make space. We have to make room. And sometimes over the course of our life, we have gone through life and just pick up a lot of toxic people in our life, a lot of bad habits, right? We are like that. Life, if sometimes when you move into a new apartment, right? When you move into a new apartment sometimes, before you know it, over 6 months, the new apartment is unrecognizable and it's alright. Think about it this way: when you're moving house, sometimes, right, you realize like shit, I've got so much stuff I've gathered I don't use. Our life is no different. We have gone through life picking up so much bad friends, so much bad habits, and sometimes when our moment has come. And these people are falling off out our life. This boyfriend has shown his true color. This girlfriend has shown his true color. And these are not people who want to. We are freaking out. We are like, what are we going to be doing? My life is over. You know the amount of people, right? That really. And sometimes, you know, as a wife, I listened to this story where they said a man was drowning. And basically 3 emergency service come to save him and he's like, no, I'm waiting for God to come and save me. So when he died and he went to heaven, he said to God, why didn't you come and save me? God said, you know, see, I send so much people to save you, you turn away the help. Sometimes, you know, we feel like we know better than God. Sometimes we feel like we know better than God. We fight to keep some people in our life that should not be in our life. We fight to stay in some job that we shouldn't. We fight to stay in some relationship that we shouldn't be staying, because guess what? And God is you know, God is a God. God is God. Like he said, if you seek, you shall find. God help the man who help himself. If he's seeing that you are trying to help yourself, he will help you. But if he's trying to help you and you try to go against the, he's just like, all right, tell you what, you know better. I've come to this understand. I don't act as if I know better than God. Like, I just relax and let things happen. Too much of us are in the situation where we think like, and I know this generation don't want to hear about God, right? But I love talk about God. Like, this book is all about the Bible scriptures and the Proverbs, right? I like reading the book of Proverbs. And the Proverbs, when we hear about Proverbs, we don't think about it as it's a serious book, but they say the kingdom of heaven is wrapped up into Proverbs, right? The kingdom of, so listen, the kingdom, so the better life that you want, or the better life that you are searching for, is wrapped up in Proverbs, right? I remember when Jesus' disciples said to him, Master, why do you talk in Proverbs when a crowd is here? He said the kingdom of heaven is wrapped up in Proverbs. And to some people it's too lazy to go and, when they hear a Proverbs, think about it. My grandmother used to tell me, right? It's not every king teeth a laugh. And that might sound easy or sound simple to some people, but what she's saying to me is not everybody that smiles with you is with you. right? So even as a black person, right? As a black person, this is why I don't get up nowadays and say, boy, slavery was the be end all and the end all as us as a people, because I know some of the lessons that my granny would have given to me would have been phrases and stuff they had to kind their generation would have to kind to get them through the dark times and the tough times, and they passed it down, right? What I'm trying to say to you, if you listen to some of the phrases that your grandmother would have said to you, or some of your elders, you'll find they are more valuable than money, right? You'll find out they are more valuable than money, right? Because I remember my grandmother used to say to me, right, believe kill and believe cure, right? And it wasn't till about a year ago I was saying that to myself, and it really dawned on me what it really means. Your belief system, what you believe in can kill you, and what you believe in can cure you. So just like this person that joined my life a while ago, said the name Adam the loser. If you believe that you are a loser, how are you going to be living a successful life? If you believe, your belief system, you believe, your my granny said, believe kill and believe cure, right? And a lot of us are going through life and harboring a negative belief of ourselves. We believe that we are good for nothing. We believe that we are worth nothing. We believe that we can't do. And as a wise man once said, the only reason why we believe that we are good, grandmother know best SM, yeah, the only reason why we take on, because they live long. Exactly. So the Bible says, honor thy mother and thy father, that thy days may be long. Yeah. And the Bible said, I've got this book, like, and this is why I will always say, anybody watch my videos, don't let nobody tell you that the Bible was written to oppress a set of people now, because some of the things that I'm coming across in the Bible, I'm like, whoa. I mean, like, you mean to tell me, like, this is why I call standing on the shoulders of giants, right? You mean to tell me that the lessons is there, the phrases is there, the paragraphs is there that could save me 20 years of trying to figure something out, right? But I said, my grandmom said, your belief can kill you, your belief can cure you. A lot of us is just taking on other people's belief. We're living in a time nowadays where people is just taking on other people's belief. Some people is not thinking for themselves. And that's the highest form of human. You have to be able to think for yourself. As a wise man once said, the only thing that makes us different from the pig and the horse is our mind, right? Do your research. Do your research, of course. Do your research, right? Because this is why when I do my life, I never want to tell people how to think. I encourage people to think, because that's a wise man said, that's the only thing. Our mind is what makes us different from the pig. Like, and if you don't believe me, remember you got some illness that when it comes to human, they take parts of the pig and insert it into different organs in the human, right? That's why some people say they don't eat pig, because it's the closest to human. Remember, just the other day we see Elon Musk is doing tests on pigs. Good message made. People got to think. Yeah, and this is a problem. This is why influential marketing is such a big thing, because people is just, once you give somebody the right to think for you, you're being led. You've been led. And you're going, once you're being led, it's easy to be misled, It's so easy to be misled. It's so easy to be misled. This is why influential marketing is such a big thing. But you only allow people to think for you and influence you, right? If you are, you're not disciplined, right? This is why your grandmother said, if your friend jump out, the amount of people nowadays, if an influencer said jump, then ask them, oh, television. I'm just glad I'm at a point in life. I would not. As I said in a live, because I do countless live. I said last week, right? I was in Edinburgh at the Surgeon General Hospital, and it's like the mecca for healthcare, right? And the short version of the story, I see every part of the human being body was in a glass jar. The brain and everything apart from the human mind. That's what makes me individual. We should not be thinking alike. We should not be. This is why when you have brainstorming an idea, this is why when people want ideas, they say, come on, let's think. No two people we can't be thinking along the similar path, because of exchange of energy. And life is about energy and frequency. Right? So we talk about that already. We talk about energy, we talk about frequency, we talk about the kinetic energy. That's how people think. Right? You understand me? But I will not be influenced by an influencer to say that I should buy this shirt, I should buy these shoes. People nowadays are like sheep. Yeah. And a lot of people is being led by the wrong shepherd. People nowadays are like sheep. Literally are like sheep. They are being led. Unfortunately, they are being led by the wrong shepherd. Blessed the love, you know. This is why we do our live, and we are a clothing brand. Tabfarmwear.com. When you do my live, we want to shore up your mental. We are looking up to people that do no good. Because self-preservation. Self-preservation. Everybody is over there. Everybody have their own interests at heart. And you give up your God-given right. You know the amount of people that like end up in financial ruins because they let people influence them to go cop something that they don't need. You know the amount of people that end up in relationship ruin because they make somebody warped idea of what a healthy relationship should be influence them. But that's what happened when you are lazy in your thinking. That's what happened when you give somebody the right to think for you. Because nowadays one of the most confusing conversation online is relationship. And everybody has their idea of what a relationship should be. And that's right. Your idea of what a healthy and a balanced relationship should be is your right. My right to go out and form my own relationship. That's why I always think the news show people who give the charity and preach good message instead of the life is about negative. Life is of two. Negativity. People, I will say them say negativity sell, but as I read book, it just comes back. I can't, for me, right? For me, I'm at a stage in life where I think for myself. And I can encourage anybody watching this live. You have to, and I was reading this book called The Power of Concentration, right? And in the book, it said, dwarfs can do the works of a giant, but giant, when they have the magical ability to concentrate, but giants can only do the works of a dwarf when they lack the ability to concentrate, right? And it talks about the different. So if you have never read this book, it's called The Power of Concentration, and it breaks down the different level of concentration and how people react. This is why on this platform, the impulsive buying is such a big thing. But if you are an impulsive person, then you have a ill discipline, right? And this is why you have to. This is why sometimes if you try to get a meeting or try to with some of the richest and the most powerful people, they are not impulsive. Like, I don't think you can pick up your phone to Elon Musk and let's say you get an audience with him and give you an answer in the day. Right? That's the power of the disciplined mind. Right? This is why, you know, you have to, the books are there. The books are, successful people is nobody's special. They have nothing that you and me don't have. What they have is the ability to learn. Very good point. Recently, all right. Go and get the book. Go and get the book, The Power of Concentration, and you will realize, like, sometimes when you say it too much, it sounds like, morning, Sharon, wagwan, how are you doing? Right? The Power of Concentration, right? And it talks about you got three mind. And I would need to search this journal, cause I think, but I didn't come to open this book this morning. But from time to time, I'll normally name drop. Impulsive. That's not a good. That's not. You are wasting your energy. You are going to. So get that book. Read that book. This is why over on these platforms they try to get people to impulsive buying. And if you are an impulsive person, you have to acknowledge that I'm a morning, my brother. Why go and namesake Tabfarm blessing? You're an impulsive person. We can't live like that. This is why the successful people are never impulsive. You want to have a meeting with a Jeff Bezos or a Elon Musk. Let's just call one or two of the most successful names of our time. I doubt they will give you an answer within the moment. Doubt they will. And even in the 48 laws of power, right? There's I think one of the laws, we have to be able to hold on to our decision. We have to discipline our decision making. We have to discipline our decision making. But you can only discipline your decision making if you know that you are in charge of making that decision. And a lot of people are living in a day and age where they are not in charge of the decision they make. Right? Unfortunately, when you make a decision, you have to live with the consequence. But a lot of people has been driven to be impulsive, to make decision. And by making the decision, you are, so if you are an impulsive person, blessed, don't go on with the rose. You know what I mean? But this is what we talk about. So get the book, The Power of Concentration. Discipline your concentration, because to be successful in life, you know, It's not about how many things you are able to start. It's how many things that you are able to complete. And you need to be able to concentrate. You need to be able to focus. And these things take discipline. If you live in an indisciplined life, the result is going to show up. The result is going to be shown up. The indiscipline. So we want you to be living a disciplined life. And this is why we are over here. Top form. We drop the books them. We tell you to read the books them. And when you read the books them, we tell you to take out the notes and implement them. If I open this book right now, I can give you 10. This is like Top Form Bible, the philosophy Bible. The books, as a wise man once said, right? You can't be lazy in learning. The word Top Form to the world. Blessed. You can't be lazy in learning. You cannot. And I've come to that conclusion, because once you start feed your mind and you start take charge of your actions, you start take charge, you can stay ahead of what's happening, and you can see what's happening. You can see where people is getting manipulated. You can see where people is just getting played, right? But you have to be shoring up your mind. As a wise man once said, I stand guard at my mind. I'm careful what I listen. I'm careful of what I read. I'm careful what I've entertained. I've taken the job of standing guard at my mind. Very, very serious. The mind is the most fertile field, and I can't allow people to come and just to plant anything in it. All right, because if an abundance of useless seeds is planted in it, then it's going to be bring forth. That's why they say, as you sow, so shall you reap. So if you are reading the books I'm telling you to read, if you are listening to the voices of reasoning, then you will be all right. You will be all right. People can't just come and just toss you about and just manipulate you and pull you like string. No one can manipulate me and pull me like string. I'm in charge of my mind. I'm in charge of this body, this mind, because the mind leads the body. What's the books again, brother? I want to write that. Oh, we talk about the power of concentration. The power of concentration, right? That's the one we talk about this morning. We're talking about the ability to concentrate, right? As I said, dwarf can do the works of giants when they have the magical ability to concentrate, but giants can only do the works of dwarf. All right, and that's from the book, The Power of Concentration. All right, yeah. Normally over here we talk about the books that we read. So that's just that one. Blessed Wagwan Top Farmer, right? Those are the books them. And we talk about, from time to time, we talk about a guy like Jim Rohn, right? Jim Rohn, very good. Because personal development, adding value to yourself. That's how you add value to yourself. You develop yourself personally. You make that your life lesson to develop yourself personally. And I've come across this term what we call personal development, right? Personal development. Once you start add value to yourself, you'll be all right. You don't need to worry about what's happening out there, because at the end of the day, right, if you are living that ill-disciplined line where you just allow your mind to be controlled, and then you just feel like this blue spinning planet is holding you hostage. But it comes back to the books that you're reading. As a wise man once said, you'll be a reflection of the books you read and the people that you're hanging out with. I've made it a point of duty to read books, and it's calmed my mind. The books I read, the philosophies I've formed, the lessons I've taken, right? Because as I said, right, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your request to God. How can I be? Nowadays, like, a lot of people is anxious, which leads to anxiety. And the Bible, this is why I love the Bible. It tell me, don't be, what's the point being anxious about life? And I think last week I did a lessons about you're going to face the life, one of two ways to face life, right? Yeah, you can either be anxious, yeah, about life, but if you are reading the books, one of two ways to face the future. I don't want to be anxious about my future, so I don't leave my future up to chance. I genuinely don't. I don't leave my future up to chance, right? I'm going to find that quote. It said it is one of two ways. I think it was Jim Rohn said it, one of two ways to face the future. You can either be apprehensive, and they said to be apprehensive about, it's about being nervous, not know what to expect, right? Yeah, so you're either going to be apprehensive about your future, and if you're reading the books, if you're adding value to yourself, right? If you're adding value to yourself, then you'll be all right. But if you're just, too much people nowadays just leaving, do you think getting closer to God? Of course, I would say closer to God, but closer to the biblical principles. closer to the biblical principles, because the Bible is important. Like if you open your Bible, like if I open this book, if I open this most of my I could not be content in life and be optimistic, right? Yeah, I think it was one of two ways to feel, either apprehensive or optimistic. Yeah, something like that, right? But basically, yeah, I read the Bible, and nowadays, because I've got the Bible on my phone, and it gives me scriptures, and it's never given me a scripture that's causing me concern. It is telling me if I do this, I should expect that, right? And that's the beauty about the Bible. I think for too long, I was going through life listening to people thinking for me, that's saying the Bible is written to oppress a certain class of people, and because of that, I did not want to read the Bible. But I can attest, I'll reach a point in life and said, I sorry that I wasn't a more reader of the Bible and taking notes from the Bible, right? As I said, Philippians 2 verses 21, for everyone looks out for their own interest, not those of Jesus Christ, right? So the first line tells you, we've seen it nowadays where every man is looking out for themselves, like everyone, and it's all right. Self-preservation is okay. You have to look out for you. You have to look out for you, but when it becomes a problem is when you start hurting me to get to your end goal, right? But the Bible tell you that I've never opened the Bible and like James 1, because human anger does not produce the righteousness that. So it talks about, and it goes back to talk about self-control, like where everything links, because every successful person that written a book, right? They have read the Bible, and I've said it countless times, like the books them I've read, like James Allen, right? James Allen said, a man think in secret, but it comes to pass. Man is nothing but a looking glass. Like we have seen where people has been made rich from the self-help industry, right? But what they would have done is go directly to the source, right? This is why you have to be willing to go to the source. Like nowadays, I don't read a lot of books because Neville Goddard said reading many books causes confusion unto the souls. Right, so I've got a handful of books because a lot of them is just repurposing. Like if you want to understand financial principle, I've always said it countless times, you should be reading the book Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason, right? That book is probably the only book you want to know about financial principle. Like it tells you, and many books are spun from that book. But you would not know that if you have not read that book. Many books, all the financial book, because the core financial principles doesn't change. The language might change. It's like life have some fundamentals, relationship fundamentals, health fundamentals, life have some fundamentals, right? And fundamentals are set of basic but essential principles that everything derives from, right? Life have some fundamental principles that the language might change. And we see nowadays where people is trying to change things to fit the 21st century, if you can call it that. But ultimately, they can't change the fundamentals. They can't change the fundamentals of what keep a society together, right? They can't change. What they can do is try to jigger poke at stuff, so stuff sounds a bit more. But if you learn the fundamentals of life, you learn the fundamentals and the importance of financial principle. And I will direct you to the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. I remember when I first read that book, not only was I embarrassed, but I was also excited to put some of the principles, right? So don't be lazy in learning. Like the results, like nowadays, like don't be thinking like, and this is why I said to people all the while, you might be thinking that you are not a valuable person, right? But your time is valuable. Because some of these, all of these social media platforms are multi-billion-dollar platforms. But they are only valued that much because you and me are happy to give them your time. Right? And there's a time and place to everything. Like, I like social media like the next person. But don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be using my time unwisely. I use my time according to the biblical principle. There's a time and place to everything. There's a time when I want to watch a few stupid videos. There's a time when I want to seek out something of value. Blessed, yeah, man. Blessed. Blessed. You know, give you a follow. We are Top Farmer. Check out the website, www.topfarmer.com. But that's the importance of understanding the Bible and the language of the Bible. There's a time and place for everything. Too many people want to live for one. And life doesn't work like that. The Bible can't be wrong. The Bible tell you a time and place for everything. This is why you got some people in your life, they only want to be in your life when things is good. When the hard time comes, when the difficult time comes, they are nowhere to be seen because they do not believe in that idea that the Bible said. There's a time to laugh and a time to cry. This is why ever you have some so-called friend, oh boy, when me I go through my difficult time, me can't see you, me can't. No. Because they are not in your life for that. They are on to the next one. Some people just go around people in the good times. They don't want to be around people in the bad times. But no one can go through. As Jim Rohn book said, see, life and business is like the season. Life and business is like the season. Get that book from Jim Rohn. See the amount of book me give you this morning? And I'm happy to share the knowledge. Life and business is like the season. And if you don't like to read, put on your audio book. You have no excuse not to learn. Anybody who is living in ignorance nowadays, they make a conscious choice. It's a conscious choice. It is literally a conscious choice to say, I am going to remain in ignorance because I think it's bliss and I love being ignorant. Yeah, like, seriously, like, get it. Nowadays, if you have a car, you can get your audio book while you're driving. Think about it. Every day you commuting to work for an hour, right? I commute on the train, right? And it normally takes me about 40 minutes. So rather than listen to 40 minutes of hip-hop song and Jay-Z, remember, you know the Jay-Z's, they are millionaires and billionaires. I use my 40 minutes to get an audio book and put it in, and my life has transformed without even changing much. Does that make sense? Because I don't stop commuting, but what I do now, I use the time wisely. I start listening to something of value. Because whether you like it or not, right? Yeah, like, seriously. And if you're looking at your family, so, alright, we'll give you a little experiment. Look in your family and see who they look up to the most. Who people admire the most in your family and they respect the most. And just look at them and say, what do they have that I don't have? They probably have more value. They bring more to the life is. So imagine you going out into the world without value. Life, we're living in a value-based society. We live in a value-based society. And if your own family they love you. We're not talking about love. I don't want it to be mistaken. But we're talking about they looking up to other family members and said that, yeah, like society is no different. If you add value to yourself, we are living in a value-based system. And once you add value to yourself, because they say once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. And if you are not reading books, that's going to be broad in your horizon. If you are not shoring up your vocabulary, if you are, does that make sense? Like, ultimately, you have to take responsibility for you. I can't do it. All right? I don't want to be a TikTok preacher. You know. Check out my website, www.tabfarmware.com. I hope I see a few people watching me for a minute. This is what we talk about. This is what we talk about, right? This is what we talk about. This is what we do. When we turn on our phone, I don't want to sound like I'm coming from a self-righteous place because we get it, you know. I get it. I get it's easy for me to say it. But the beauty of me saying it, I can tell you that I went into the lockdown and I decided to myself, I am going to start to learn something different. I want to find a different way of thinking. And I remember just before the lockdown, I came across Jim Rohn, right? Because we're not dealing with the fly. Because what you find on social media now, it's only the 3-second sound bites. A lot of these so-called people just looking for a soundbite to find out how to motivate you. Alright? We does not operate like that. When we want to motivate you, right? It's more, no, just function normally, folks. I'm the one who's in here doing this. You know what I mean? It's alright. Don't worry about me. Right? We are not looking for sound bites. We are telling you, say, if you listen to this guy, right? He's going to tell you can become more than you have. You can have more than you got because you can become more than you are. Alright, he's going to tell you about life and business is like the season. So we talk about Jim Rohn. We talk about serious people who is in the personal development. We talk about Les Brown. I love Les Brown because he had a bit of humor to what he does, right? Doesn't matter how motivated you are, right? He said Murphy's Law is always waiting for you to knock you down. So some people might be motivated and feel like because I'm motivated, things should be working out just like that. It doesn't work like that, alright? But he also tells you that if you can look up, you can get up. Alright, you have to know that because sometimes life is going to knock you down. Like, especially nowadays we live in, the system is rigged. The system is rigged. Is the system rigged? Yes. But guess what? Life is a natural selection process. You have to know how badly do you want it. We talk about Bob Proctor. The energy. You have to understand who you spend your time with. Energy. Frequency. Alright? Yes, you have to be careful who you attract in your life. Life attract life. Bob Proctor, that's where we get that from. That's who we listen to. Once we discover Bob Proctor, he said Bob Proctor said something. Once you understand the magic trick, it's no longer magic. But once you understand life, it becomes magical. And that was profound. Yeah. Anyway, I'm in a shared space. So I'm going to leave you guys. Alright, if you are not following, give me a follow. If you like what I'm saying, give me a like. And remember, check out my website at www.topfarmwear.com. And before I go, remember James Allen, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. You think in secret, but it comes to pass. Man is nothing but a looking glass. Alright? Man is made and unmade in the thoughts. So get that book. You'll learn a lot from that. Alright? Have a blessed Thursday morning. Top Farm. Check out my website, www.topfarmwear.com. Oh, go on, folks. Here you go.